As the circle of time spins once again, we have been spending the past 3 weeks trying to understand what it is that we lost, trying to comprehend what it means to no longer have a Beis Hamikdash, and perhaps some of us were more successful than others. But as we are now Motzei Shabbos of Parshas Nachamu, we also need to be able to take the consolation and to be able to take the chizik so that we are able to proceed and go forward. And therefore I would like to share with you the following thought. Indeed, the more we have been focusing on the loss of the Beis Hamikdash and recognizing that we no longer have the home, the place where the Shekhinah resided with such revelation, it's hard to imagine that there is consolation afterwards. But let's think about it. Hashem chose us as His nation before there was a Beis Hamikdash. Hashem chose us as His nation before there was any special place for us to go. Rather, Hashem was everywhere. And Klal Yisrael were able to access that Kedusha in every place they went. If we think about the stories of the Avos, of Avram, who found him in the desert while being machnas orach and bringing in guests, of even people who were atheists or believed in all sorts of idol worship, but still he was able to connect Hashem in his home and wherever he went. So while it's true that the Beis Hamikdash is destroyed and that Gilui of Shekhinah is no longer available to us, it's not that we no longer have Hashem. We just need to remember we are going back to a relationship that existed before. And in that relationship was everywhere and in every aspect of our lives. I would like to share with you something that my grandfather, Rabbi Shlomo Twerski Zatzal, used to say often. And he would say, when we think about the avodah of the Beis Hamikdash, we need to again be able to take it from there and transpose it and to expand upon it and realize that that same relationship is found in our very homes. Because if you think about the avodah of the Beis Hamikdash, it was in fact very similar to the avodah that a person does in his own kitchen. The korbanos was food that was prepared. It was shechted and then it was cut apart into parts and prepared and be eaten and cooked it with very delicious aromas and tastes. And that is what we do in our homes every day. One of the primary avodas that was competed for in the Beis Hamikdash was the Trumas Hadeshin, which is taking the ashes off the Mizbeach and being brought outside the Beis Hamikdash into a separate place. That is what we do when we take the garbage out of the house. The psoilis, the leftovers from when we prepare our meals, and we take it out now to make room for the next. We do that every day. And when we sit down to eat our food and we make a bracha on it and recognize it comes from Hashem, that is very similar to the Kohanim in the Beis Hamikdash when they would eat their korbanos. So the idea that is indeed a comfort is that while we did lose the Beis Hamikdash and we did lose a place of Shekhinah that was so clear and evident that it's hard to fathom, we did not lose our relationship with Hashem. We just need to resort and go back to the relationship that existed before that, the relationship of the Avos, and that is to see Hashem in our daily lives, in our mundane lives, and we need to be able to see the holiness and the Kedusha that exists in all of our actions. So indeed, we continue to mourn for the Beis Hamikdash, and we continue to daven for Mashiach Tzidkenu that Hashem should bring the third Beis Hamikdash, and we should be zeicha once again to be able to have the relationship that was open and clear and was very apparent to anyone who came and felt it. But until that time, we need to remember that Hashem is still with us. We are not abandoned. We've just been sent out. And Hashem came with us. When Hashem sent the Jews out to exile, Hashem came with us. And therefore, there is a greater availability to see Hashem in the daily lives of each and every one of us. May we all be zoicha to see Hashem, to feel Hashem's presence, and to be comforted by that, and to take chizuk as we continue to march forth, doing the will of our Creator.